Hey, it's Rachel over at Moonlight Library. I am here today to talk about my September TBR. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with what I'm doing. So, like, comment, subscribe, the whole deal. Thank you. I realize you're gonna notice this as I go along. It feels like most months the books I read somehow correlate in the same color. Like the covers are kind of like the same color hue. There's something going on with me. On to my September, what I plan on reading. I did an August TBR and I ended up reading like 4 or 5 out of the 7 books, and I was like, good job, you. You did it. Like, you were reading the books that you said you might read. So I'm kind of feeling like TBRs are working for me right now. I will come out with my wrap up in a couple of days. A lot of things this week. I feel like I'm making a lot of videos this week because I have the week off. Put them in an order. Okay, this one I'm pretty excited about. This is my book club pick for September. I chose it. It is Unlikely Animals by Annie Hartnett. This takes place in I think Vermont or New Hampshire. And it's this girl who goes back to her dad's house to help care for him because he has a brain tumor. And there's weird magical things happening. So it's magical realism. Not super fantasy, but is it in his head or is it in real life? And he's talking to some sort of a ghost or something, an entity in the house. So this one's pretty exciting for me. Also, it has a blurb from Jeff Vandermeer from Annihilation. Pretty cool. A lost young woman returns to small town New Hampshire under the strangest of circumstances in this one-of-a-kind novel of life, death, and whatever comes after. Family, health, I don't know, magic. Sounds good. I kind of was looking for a couple of cozy books or lightly cozy books, since it is the beginning of the fall. Fall begins in September. So, and we're kind of coming into October, November. So, just kind of there. I want to read The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. I have read Memory Police. Very good. The Housekeeper and Professor. So the professor has had a brain injury. He's lost his short-term memory, or he only has short-term memory. He only has 80 minutes of short-term memory. So every time the housekeeper comes, they have to reintroduce themselves. So I feel like this is going to be an interesting conversational piece. They're going to learn things from each other, or maybe she's going to be learning. I don't know, since he can't remember. I'm going to be learning. The other cozier one is A Curious Beginning, and that is by Deanna Raybourn. This one is 1887 London. It's a semi-cozy mystery. And this woman gets kidnapped, or is about to be kidnapped, and she thwarts the plan, basically. And then the only person who knows why she was going to be kidnapped is this man who ends up dead, I think. And she's a scientist in the 1800s. It sounds pretty good. She's supposed to speak at a convention. I've heard really good things about it, so I really want to read it. Another mystery. Let's follow a trend here. I am on the second Finlay Donovan. So Finlay Donovan knocks him dead. If you haven't realized by this point, all these books are blue. I didn't realize what I was doing until it happened. So Finlay Donovan knocks him dead. This is a case of mistaken identity. It's the second book in a semi-cozy mystery series. I'm not really usually a cozy mystery reader, but this is Finlay Donovan's very funny, very interesting, very how is she going to get out of the situations she has gotten into? She was mistaken in a Panera as a hit person when she was talking to her agent about her new novel, and she's kind of down on her luck, and someone's like, hey, can you kill my husband? That happens in the first one. So now it's just playing along with where she ended up after the first novel. So I would definitely recommend it. It's a whole series. The third one either has already come out or is coming out. I can't quite remember. I would definitely recommend it if you enjoy mysteries and you want something lightly funny. I don't know. So Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. I have read Remote Control. This is like science fiction. She left her home for the stars, but found more adventure than she bargained for. A tense and intimate coming-of-age story in space. This seems like a fun, like, sci-fi novella sort of situation. Maybe I'll read a couple of short books and kind of just go through some of them. That sounds fun because I have a number on my shelf that I'm like, I should probably get around this book. It's very short. Why haven't I read it? Another sci-fi book. This is Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. I have been meaning to finish this book. How far did I get? I think I was in the middle of Story of Your Life. I have actually read at least the first 2 short stories in here, and I just kind of want to get into more of a pattern of reading short story collections, maybe reading like one a night, or I'm not sure, like something. I would like to spend more time on short stories, and I think this is a really good one. I like science fiction. I've read Story of Your Life before, and I freaking love it. It is so good. So each of these are a little different. One's called Tower of Babylon, where they're like building this extremely large tower. Another one's kind of like Limitless, where someone has a brain like modification that makes them like the smartest person ever. Story of Your Life is kind of this idea of what is time and how does time run linearly, or like how do we perceive moments of our life. I mean, it's more than that. It's like aliens and stuff like that, but it's about being unstuck in time, which is like very interesting. So okay, last blue book. Binti's not exactly blue, but it did kind of match the aesthetic of this whole video. Last one is Punk 57. I'm not usually any sort of a romance reader, but I kind of have this feeling that I just want to try out different types of romance books. I've never read a romance book like this. I hear it's kind of like a lot of trigger warnings to it. This guy and this girl are pen pals from childhood, and it's like the guy goes to seek out the girl without the girl knowing, and it's not how it was in the letters sort of thing. Abusive? I don't know. I'm very like, a lot of people have been reading it, and I'm like, I'm kind of intrigued. I kind of just would like to know. So those are the books. Those are the books that I plan on reading in September, or at least I hope to get around to some of them. Definitely a couple of them are like I have to read, and a couple of them because like book club or it's due at the library, so I'd really like to finish them. So who knows? Thank you for watching.